I was excited to hear that it's almost break time for you guys. So I think if I would have been 21 days later, it might have been a different crowd. So again, thank you for having me. As she mentioned, my name is Christy, and I am a Gallup certified strengths coach. I'm also the founder of Activate Your Talent, and we are an organization that's strengths-based and is dedicated to providing our customers with group training sessions, one-on-one coaching sessions, and online learning programs. And so just to share a little bit about my background is my journey as a military spouse has taken me from the coal mines of Wyoming all the way to the land of the pines here in North Carolina. And along the way, I've worked tirelessly to piece together kind of a puzzle piece resume that's included experience in small business, personal finance, and leader development, along with some other semi-sketchy job titles I had to kind of piece together. So, but it wasn't until 2014 when I took the leap of faith and started my own company, Activate Your Talent, did I finally feel like I was utilizing my education, experience, and natural talents to positively impact the world around me. So as I mentioned before, Activate Your Talent seeks to be a positive catalyst in our clients' life by helping them solve two major problems, and the first of which being employee engagement. And it's estimated that nearly 70% of the workforce can be classified as unengaged. The second problem is personal effectiveness. And Gallup organization estimates that only 1 in 4 individuals has the opportunity to do what they do best every single day. And I don't know about you, but to me, those are two very scary statistics and things that I want to work to eradicate through my company. And so we seek to do this by utilizing the Gallup Strengths Finder assessment. And the assessment has a few main outcomes that we feel are very useful to our clients. First of which, on the individual side, individuals who use their strengths on a daily basis are 6 times as likely to be engaged and are 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. Additionally, teams that receive strengths-based feedback have 8.9% greater profitability and 7.8% greater productivity. So it really helps on both fronts. And I've mentioned the Strengths Finder assessment, and I'd love to tell you even more, but since we don't have much time, I'll give you a brief overview of what it is. It is similar to other assessments that you may have heard of as the DISC or Myers-Briggs or even the VIA character strengths. But it's really rooted in positive psychology and helps individuals focus on their strengths instead of trying to fix their weaknesses. It's been taken by over 16 million people worldwide and hinges on one simple equation. And that equation is talent, which we'll define as naturally occurring patterns of thought, feeling, or behavior, times investment, which is practicing and developing your skills and building your knowledge, equals strength. And that's where we all want to get. We want to get to this place where we're able to consistently provide near perfect performance. So we work with individuals to take their talent, times it by investment, and end in this period of strength. So our journey through this for the past 3 years has really been mind-blowing and bucket-filling. We've had the opportunity to work with Fortune 500 companies as well as local organizations. And I've put up just a few quotes of our time with the individuals. But our favorite company, it was a local company that was featured on Shark Tank. And we were able to work with them to provide an integrated curriculum of both individual coaching sessions and group training events where we really could nurture them through this period of exponential growth for them. There's one more fact that I probably should have shared with you at the beginning, and that's I love to find and conquer challenges, physical, mental, or even involving massive amounts of food. If it's there, I want to be there. And this has led me to help complete ultra marathons, complete national quiz bowl championships, and even eat what was referred to as the Great Wall of China, made out of ice cream in Miami. So why am I sharing this strange voluntary hardship trait? Well, it's because I was able to take the same zest for taking on a big challenge and apply it to my business by setting what I like to call, and Jim Collins as well, big, hairy, audacious goals. So BHAGs. So for my business, I set my BHAG as 10,000. I wanted to help 10,000 individuals find and leverage their natural talent to be more effective and efficient. Why 10,000? Well, that's the size of my hometown in Wyoming. And to me, there's nothing more energizing or exciting than an entire strengths-based town operating in their sweet spot. So instead of getting overwhelmed or paralyzed at this huge number as a brand new baby entrepreneur, I decided to break it down into small, actionable steps, sort of like a Jim Collins and a 20-mile march approach, and took that over 20 years. Yes, everything I do is framed by the military career, and that's 500 people a year. So 500 people a year is 41 people a month, and that's really the average of one group. So if I did one group training session each month, I could slowly, over 20 years, reach my big, hairy, audacious goal. And so far, we've been really close to meeting this each month, which is exciting. But that's where y'all come in. And there are two main asks that I would have of you today. First, as you know, recommendation, referrals, and endorsements are absolutely vital to small businesses. So I would love to hear if you know of any individuals who are looking to unleash the power of their strengths, or any organizations who are looking to really increase productivity and, more importantly, team cohesiveness. Secondly, I'm looking for advice. I'd love to add more superheroes onto my team. I feel like I'm at that stage where we're tipping over from a lifestyle business to more of a team-based business. So I'd like to add what I'm thinking of 5 coaches over the next 18 months and the business to support them. So I really appreciate you guys listening to my presentation, and I'm so excited to kind of jump into the question and answer period and see where we can go today. Yes?
Katie, I'm a little vague on what are you looking for exactly as far as the talent for your business? Is that what you're talking about, more coaches?
I'm looking for advice as I'm going, because right now I just manage myself and, and all that. So just more advice on when you're going from a lifestyle business to a business where you're managing other employees, and then finding the business around that.
Did you say you were looking to hire 5 people? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
What will they do?
I would say the same thing as I am, just more coaches, because what I can't replicate is myself. I've tried, but I haven't quite been able to figure it out. And so I'm at the point where, you know, I'm maxed out, my family's very busy, and so I think the next logical step in my business is to bring on more coaches who are positively impacting the world as well. Yes?
So would these coaches have to go through the training in order to become certified also?
I believe that's the best way to do it. Just through Gallup, you get the stamp of approval along with the continuing education, which I think is important, as you're going to be out there as a consultant. You need to have the education behind you.
How are you currently marketing your business?
A couple ways. So I am in the Gallup Certified Strengths Coach directory, which provides a lot of really good qualified leads. So that's more of a passive marketing, and other than that, networking events, getting out in the community, spreading it. And I found the most success is when I meet people one-on-one and I can really hear about their needs and wants, and then kind of chat with them on some solutions for that. So I haven't done a lot of cold call emails, a little bit, but I prefer more conferences and expositions and things like that where I can have conversations.
So how are you getting your word to those people who are putting together conferences and things of that nature, that you're available? How are you?
You're getting out there? I'd like to do more, and so I have set up some different Google alerts and speaker alerts and things like that, so I can get out and give presentations. I also research if they're looking for any booths or expositions and if it's a good fit for me, but would just like to network with more people to find out more about the conferences, because sometimes they're hard to find and cherry pick there.
So if I were to come to you wanting to activate my talent,
Yes.
what's the first thing you would say? Or what's the process?
Yeah, so the first thing I would have you do is take the assessment. And so it's about 45 minutes to do. And you go online and you just take it and you get your top 5 strengths. At that point, that's where I step in as a coach and kind of work with you in a 3-step process. So first we want you to understand your natural talents. So you got to discover them, and then the next step is to own them. You know, we want them to basically kind of be oozing out of you. So when you're in a situation or in a room, everyone knows as well as you do your strengths. And then last, we want to work on really aiming those strengths into a specific goal. So I like to call it the name it, claim it, aim it trajectory to use your strengths.
So how long is the process with you? Is it like a month?
It really depends. Yeah, and I know that's kind of the lawyery answer, but I've had clients who were looking to transition, and he wanted to do it very rapidly. So we actually met once a week for 3 weeks. That's the closest amount of time I've ever had. I've also had clients who aren't on such a long time frame, and we spread those 3 sessions out over maybe 4 or 5 months when they want more time to reflect and go about their daily lives.
Of course, you know my next question.
Yeah.
What's the cost of going through
The package? Yeah, and so
Yes.
the 3 session package is $599, and that includes 3 one-hour sessions plus correspondence in between. It's not one of those things that 60 minutes is up and we shut off. It's more starting the conversation. I provide prompts and things like that, so it's a really a part of that journey, I would say.
So do you have any training in psychiatry, psychology, or?
No, as I mentioned, I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach, so I went
Oh,
through their
okay.
curriculum and was certified through them. Additionally, in one of my previous lives, I'm an accredited financial counselor, and to get that certification, you had to do quite a bit of work in counseling and one-on-one work as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your questions.
When you were talking about marketing before, I didn't hear you mention social media. Have you
Mhm.
considered utilizing that to get the word out?
I do, and I'm on social media and post a lot of content. I haven't had a lot of engagement, which surprised me. It's been about 3 years, and I've done different campaigns and whatnot. But it feels like the space I'm in at the price point I'm in, it's not your user that's kind of scrolling through. It's usually someone that's looking for something with a targeted search. But if you have any hints on that, I'm all ears.
We
Woohoo!
have a social media marketing course here at the
Mhm.
college, and also a certificate e-marketing. So
Okay.
that would be something you might want to check into.
Definitely.
And in that social media marketing class, you can get your Hootsuite certification.
Oh, I love Hootsuite.
Which is very valuable, so
Yeah.
we do have that resource.
Thank you. No, that's very helpful. Yes.
Are you looking for ideas or suggestions of how to market your, are
I'm
you needing, are you over, is it that you're overwhelmed with people needing your service and you're needing people to help you with that? Or you're not overwhelmed and you need some ideas or suggestions?
a little bit of both. Right now, I'm in a great space where the clients that come in through what I'm doing now really meets my schedule. But I know that if I want to ramp it up, it's at both sides of that, right? Like I don't want to have too much business and not the coaches to support it, or have the coaches and not have the business to support it.
Yeah, from an educator perspective,
Mhm.
I think that sometimes our students, when they're at that point of graduating or getting out there, they may have had some previous talents or they've acquired new ones. And then their strength is that sometimes it's that, a little apprehensive or scared to get out there in the world. So have you considered maybe teaming up with placement offices at your local colleges or universities to see if, even to market to there that your service is available and what it entails to help people that are trying to change careers or to get out there and get their name out there?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I hadn't thought about the local colleges. I know I reached out to Fort Bragg a little bit with transitioning soldiers, just as a lot of times, your MOS or what you do in the Army, feels a lot different than transition. And so the assessment provides a really great language to talk about the things that you're good at, but in a humble and authentic way, which is sometimes hard for soldiers as they've been kind of told to talk about the team and diminish individual accomplishments.
I
So
think
thank
that's
you.
a great market with,
Mhm.
with the soldiers. Me being a military spouse, so.
Whoop, whoop, yeah, girl.
Absolutely. Sharing your military
Yes,
spouse
we
as
were
well.
chatted.
Yes, so I understand very well how hard it is with, my husband and just activating the talents that he already has, which are
Mhm.
many.
Yes, but saying it in words that everyone understands, and so
Yes.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yeah, so it's good.
Have you mapped out this new phase for yourself? In other words, are you gonna continue doing the presentations yourself when you get this new team?
At first,
It's
yeah.
gonna be a different dynamic for you, instead of you doing everything and wearing all the hats and you have to manage, and you can't be in the trenches and manage at the same time. So are you prepared? Have you mapped that out, thought about it?
Exactly, yeah, and I think, what I had envisioned was at least for the first couple sessions doing them together so we can get a feel and I can really get that trust and I know their style and I know their strengths will be different than mine, which is good. It will be 2 different styles, and so what I'm hoping is I can bring on some people with different strengths as I have to practice what I preach. I'm very energetic and zestful and that's the way I present, and other people will connect with audiences in other ways. So I'm hoping to find those complementary strengths So then in a perfect world, when a client comes, I can kind of read them and pair them up with the right facilitator or presenter. Yes.
What is the actual cost for someone to be certified as a Gallup certified strengths coach?
Yeah, so the investment is pretty hefty. When I went through it was $7,500. And so it's not something you take on lightly, but it is nice because once you do, you kind of get into that circle, and that comes with a bunch of materials and resources and support.
How long is the course?
The course, you can do it in a couple different ways. I did it all in one condensed because we were in the middle of a move. So it was
I hear you. Yes.
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 So it was a 5-day course in Omaha at their main headquarters there, 5 8-hour days, and then you went back and you had some study periods and you had to take a couple certification exams, as well as coach 10 individuals and have them submit feedback on your coaching style and ability.
Is it online as well? Do you have to be on site, or could you take the course online?
You need to be on site to take the course, yeah, because they really want to make sure that you're engaged and they're kind of checking on you throughout it. Part of it is really creating a network within the coaches as well. So we stay very close as our little cohort and kind of help each other out, as some of us are practitioners and other people work with universities or educational units.
One of the challenges, if you will, unless somebody has actually seen your presentation, it's kind of hard to get others to take one because they don't want to spend the money on a guest speaker come in or take their valuable time out of their conference or workshop or whatever for someone they don't know or
Exactly.
never seen. So do you have any video clips or anything of your presentations that people could sneak
Download?
peek and see what your style is, see if it's a fit for the organization?
No, that's a great point. And so I have a couple on file. I haven't uploaded them to my website though, so that's a great idea. I'll definitely
YouTube.
look into
I mean,
that.
you're not giving away your secrets,
Yeah.
obviously, but to get an idea if, because the last thing I want to do is spend money on a guest speaker to come in and they're not engaging, they're not energetic
Yes.
or whatever the case may be. And right
Yeah.
now, without you here, you're just a picture and some words.
Yeah.
We need to see that bubbling energy of, oh my gosh, they would pull my group in and they would come out, oh, this was a wonderful conference, I'm coming back again.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I could even see, trying to film and record something just for that purpose, so they can kind of meet me without having to meet me. So that's a great.
And just little clips, because they're not going to sit there and want to watch
No.
now, nor do you want to give away your time like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we have to keep the goldfish attention span. So very good.
Because I have visions of you, you're on a couch, I'm on a couch, and we're talking. Is that how it works?
For the coaching?
Yeah.
I have honestly coached almost anywhere. I feel like a Dr. Seuss book. And so it's more of a one-on-one interactive. Like, I want you taking notes, talking. It's not necessarily a counseling relationship. I'd say it's more of a coaching relationship. So I want to be your biggest cheerleader, provide some education experience that I've had. But really, it's your life, it's your talents, it's your strengths. And so I want to see how you see them and then how we can apply them to your life. So it's more of an interactive session, if that makes sense. Yes.
Just gonna say, so I did the strengths assessment, actually, I brought my report with me.
I'm impressed.
At a conference this past May.
Okay.
With someone who was a certified trainer, and it is very dynamic and interactive, and it was like that particular session, because it was a pre-conference session, was probably about 5-6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So we did our assessment ahead of time, and there were lots of group activities and talking to our strengths and stuff. So it is worthwhile, and I use something similar with my students in college and career counseling.
Oh, that's
so,
great news, yeah.
That's why I came, because I wanted to share what you were going to say. So I think it's a good product.
Awesome. And what is your top strength? I just have to know.
My top strength is,
Everything.
no, it's not learner.
So and I hear that you were in the educational world,
Education,
so.
So all my strengths came out exactly kind of what I expected.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing. It's always nice to know there's more of those strengths junkies out there. Yes.
The average number of times college students change majors
Oh my goodness.
is 7. And they're
7.
probably, that stage in life where they're searching. I mean, I can say I'd like to be an opera singer, but I can tell you that it's not a talent or a strength, and I will never be an opera singer. But, kids that age are trying to figure all those things out. And at first I thought, with a family spend that for a coach. But when you compare it to the fact, there might be a marketing strategy for you.
Okay.
Often by the time they've changed majors that many times, then they've already used up all their financial aid and all their tuition. So really, if they could pinpoint and narrow those talents and strengths in early, the families and parents might be saving themselves money.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I love working with students just because what's nice about the StrengthsFinder assessment, it's not A plus B equals C. So just because you're a learner doesn't mean you should work in education. You know, they try to really stay away from that, which is nice. But I have worked with high school seniors who are trying to kind of narrow down a few different career fields. One young lady was trying to decide if she wanted to be a nurse or an esthetician, which kind of sound disparate, but we could look through each of those careers through her strengths. And it really provided a lot more insight for her to see if she had a lot more of that relationship building, that caring, and then the problem solving. And we felt like that came out a little bit more in the nursing field than the esthetician. So that kind of helped set what path she should be on. So thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Question, is there, in all your experiences of coaching, do you have like, you know, things that you feel you end up giving similar content very, very often? So like, let's say you've coached, you know, 1,000 people and you find that these ideas tend to emerge regardless of the kinds of relationships, age, or things like that. Have you discovered any sort of patterns or common denominators?
There's a few. Yeah, so I'd say one common denominator that I usually have to overcome is a lot of times people don't see their strengths as strengths. I know that sounds funny, but there are a lot of times things that we're told we're too much of or we should stop doing because other people don't possess those. So a lot of times I say, you know, if you're ever told you're too bossy, you are very high in command. But people are intimidated of that and they don't want you to be up on that pedestal. So I have to do a lot of work with the majority of my clients to take back those negative stereotypes and unpeel them from those strengths and see them as strengths.
Because my point with that question is, I don't know if you're familiar with a website called Course Cats.
No, I'm not.
Basically, you can create digital courses similar to like Coursera or edX or anything like that, and you can basically monetize that.
Okay.
So that if there's something that's kind of baseline, like what you're talking about of, hey, you know, if anyone ever told you talk too much or that you're too bossy, like, that would resonate and be like, let me show you how this is a strength, you know, and where this can apply. And that's a basic monetization strategy that may dovetail into a more robust coaching relationship.
Exactly. Oh no, that's really good. No, I appreciate that. It kind of brought out one of those key needs that I think I feel like people just want to know, but you know, it might be good to break it back a level and really bring the problem up front. So,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sorry, ma'am, I missed the beginning of
that's
your
fine.
presentation, so you may have covered this. So I have a question for you. So in your individual coaching or your seminars that you provide, do you give the coaching style of stay in your sweet spot, or do you try to increase your weaknesses to bring it up? So I'm just kind of curious because I've read a number of studies.
Yeah.
And some people say stay in your sweet spot, know your strengths and stay there. Some people say, hey, build on your weaknesses so you're more balanced.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm definitely in the latter. So I'm or former, however that goes with you kind of switch those around, but it's definitely focusing on your strengths.
Okay.
And they've done a ton of research where, you know, when you spend that same time and energy on something that you're already good at, your growth is exponential. And although you may get marginally better at the things that you're not good at or your weaknesses, you'll never experience that same growth or satisfaction. So what's nice about the assessment is that it's 1 to 34 on your strengths. And so we really start with your top 5 and work on those for probably a good year because that's where you're going to get all your ROI and that's where all the good juicy meat is. From then, it's important to know 6 through 10 because those are a lot of times foundational strengths. For me, my 1 through 5 are all action-oriented, so a lot of execution, a lot of energy, but 6 through 10 are all relationships. And so if you didn't see that, you wouldn't you might think that it's all about the business side for me, where it's really not. And then from there, in the next year, we skip all the way down to 29 through 34. Because we can't wear these rose-colored glasses and not understand that there are things that we're just not good at or not naturally inhibited to. And so when we understand what our weakness is, we can either partner with someone else who is high in those to kind of help us out with those, or just have the glasses on so we know what they are and we can be honest and transparent with people that we work with and individuals, so they can help us out with that. Yes.
If you notice, the gray hairs are over here talking. And what we're talking about is a lot of our untapped market are the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Because they retire, then it suddenly dawns on them, they've got 25 or 30 years of what am I going to do next? You may want to look at them as good company.
No, I've never seen that before. So how would you say you would be interested in that? You know, because I haven't done a lot of marketing in that.
The issue that comes up there is you're looking for counselors, you're looking for leaders. If I came to you and said, I've got a bunch of folks that want to learn martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
and you send me an 18-year-old kid who looks like Ninja Warrior, that turns off my whole group that shows up.
Okay.
They want someone that looks and acts like me.
Okay.
And whatever me happens to be. I mean, that's true with younger folks, older folks. So there's an untapped market there. There's also a lot of those folks that you go talk to and say, what do you want to know that you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to learn computer skills? Would you like to learn this? Would you like to learn anything?
Mm-hmm.
So you can create the need and then say, find the need and then say, I've got the perfect person to teach you this.
Yeah.
Because they look like. We are comfortable with people that look or act like us or talk like us,
Mm-hmm.
whatever us might be. And there's a lot of that market out there. I worked at ACAP before, and you said we're transitioning soldiers.
Yeah.
Those folks are getting out every day, and they've and like you said, sometimes you gotta kind of take off the rough edges on some of them, ordering someone.
Yeah.
I remember one time my daughter said, "You're not my commander, you're my dad," and I never forgot that because again, that's very important. You can't order somebody on the outside or something, but you may want to look at that.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. That isn't a market I've thought of, but one that I could see would be really helpful because I think what Strengths helps us do is a lot of times we identify with skills or a certain career, and then when those skills or career is gone, it's like, well, who am I? What am I good at? And I think StrengthsFinder helps us take a step back and see what those broader skills that enabled you to be so successful in that career are, and then how to take those same skills and apply them elsewhere.
Because one of the thing about us, the Carolina Blondes, we call it, these are not great.
Carolina Blonde, I like it.
Works for me.
There's a lot of people I'm running across every day who are 49, late 40s, early 50s.
Mm-hmm.
They have to change careers because they're out of the market. Nobody wants to hire them.
Mm-hmm.
So they constantly just take anything that comes up where they go round and round.
Mm-hmm.
As he suggested, that may be something you may want to look at because there is a lot of displaced senior people who still have a lot to offer, but how are we going to break through?
Exactly, and be able to translate those skills into other things. And so that's kind of like we talked about the military, is you kind of have to translate that resume for civilian life. Well, you guys kind of have to do the same thing, is those same skills that looked different a couple years ago are still your skills, but it's being able to communicate those. So that's a great point. Thank you.
Have you also considered, like, startup incubators? Because, sometimes, when you look at, Jim Collins, from Good to Great, where
Yeah.
he talks about, getting the wrong people off the bus.
Exactly.
Right? Getting the right people on the bus.
And in the right seat.
And in the right seats,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes you're running a business and you think you have the right people, but you realize their strengths are not for the things that they are in,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's harder to do in a big corporate setting because, you got contracts and you have other factors involved in that, severance pay, and, if they don't like it, you're basically changing their contract, they can leave, and there's relationships that go with that, clients, account managers. In a startup phase, helping, business incubators, I think this could be an easy vendor service
Mm-hmm.
to say, hey, look, we're trying to help your business succeed, but you may be in the wrong position. Like, you want to be the CEO because you came up with the idea, but you can be the majority shareholder and not be the CEO.
Or be the president or founder instead of the CEO.
Right.
Yeah,
So
no,
that-
I hear you.
Because your strengths don't necessarily rest. Because I've worked, with other business partners who, he wanted to be the boss, but, his style of leadership was very autocratic, dictatorial, and everyone else in the business was very democratic,
Relational.
decentralization of information. He wants to hold all information, and he's wondering why nobody trusts him. And I'm like, well, clearly you're commanding people, you exclude them, and then you come down the pipe like, hey guys, what we're going to do, and they're like, but I have more expertise than you in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that perhaps there's an opportunity there to catch people in those early start business stages, because there's all kinds of business incubators. And I think helping young startups know, like, hey, this is not your strength early, as we say in the lean startup approach, like, fail now quickly and iterate again. So don't go forward and spend $1 million and realize I'm in the wrong position.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not my strength.
No, that's great. And are you aware of any, incubators around this area, or not
A
really?
couple, and there's
Okay.
obviously the angel groups
Okay.
as well. They're very connected, not only throughout North Carolina, but also into Tennessee as well. And they basically don't invest. But I think even if you had, incubators West Coast, there's a lot of incubators in Boston, and where I used to be. And I mean, those people bring you in, you're a vendor, you come in, you provide that service, and they say, hey, this is a part of your growth as a startup. Let's make sure you're in the right position, and these are your strengths. Because what I find is a lot of business people who are in startup phase, they don't think about that.
Well, no, they've got a lot on their plate, yeah.
And their whole focus is, hey, let's get the product, let's get customer feedback, not realizing that you're not gonna attract top talent or keep top talent. Simply because people are looking at you like, this guy, this is not his strength. And once I get paid, I'm out. And get the resume, hey, we hit $5 million in revenue, I did the marketing campaign, I'm out, I'm gonna go sign with Salesforce. And get a position with them and get twice the salary and a better boss. Right? So I think that there's a big opportunity in that space. And the other one I was gonna say was also a nonprofit. A lot of times, I think in the global north, right, the first world countries, we look at the scalability of a business like what you're doing as a service, but I find that places like certain parts of the Caribbean and Africa, where you have communities that have been disenfranchised either by war or other things, they're trying to figure out, how to get these people to understand what they can offer. And they just don't have skills like yourself, people that are available to do that. And governments would bring you in, and even NGOs in India as well. And say, hey, I offer this service, and we consider it, you make a unique offering for them. I think there's a huge opportunity there to look at those communities. And as well as here, I guess, because you also have safe houses, you have women who've been displaced because of poor relationships or witness protection, trying to restart their life. I think that's a big market as well, because what are they gonna do? In terms of if her husband was always working, he became abusive, out of the relationship, she never developed skills or recognize, hey, these are your strengths, there's a new direction.
Yeah, but she has those innate talents and just getting to see
That's
to use
right.
it. Yeah,
And
no, I love that.
You would be very empowering voice for them.
That'd be something that we, obviously bucket filling, which is a part of what I do. So I appreciate that.
So as part of what you do is try to inspire and motivate, maybe back on what Sebastian was saying, is part of what you do is try to inspire and motivate, because I come to you and I don't have any talent. Is part of what you do is help me recognize those innate talents that I have, or are you more of the polished people that's in this room that already know what I do well, so let me hone in on that?
A little bit of both, Yeah, no, I would definitely say it's both. And so a lot of times we do have problems seeing our own talents as talents, because a lot of times we're told they're weaknesses. So I definitely want to provide that light and education. But as you can kind of tell, I'm very action-oriented, a lot of energy. So I like a little bit more of a structured coaching session. So I want you to pick your outcomes, and then I can be a great accountability partner. So the inspiration and motivation to me goes hand in hand with making those steps to a better tomorrow.
Do your clients come mainly from at the beginning of their career, the middle of their career, or at the end?
That's a great question. So I don't see many at the end until we kind of were chatting with that. I see a lot of people in transition, whether that's a transition from college to working, transition from a career they'd been in for 10 years and got laid off and now need to find something new, or they're in the middle of a move. So I think the common denominator, if I had to kind of boil it down, although they're in different stages of their career, is that they're all in this period of transition, are looking to handle it with as much grace as possible.
What's your kind of long-term vision for where you want to be? Do you you see yourself employing coaches under you, creating a consulting firm, or just keeping it local to Katy and it's what you can handle and you're not branching farther than that?
Yeah, so I would like to branch out and bring in additional coaches just because I know there are different strengths that I can hit with different people. So again, instead of managing, not my weaknesses, but adaptability is very low for me. So is analytical and deliberative,
Okay.
which is useful to some people. And there are a lot of people that have those strengths. And so I want to make sure to be able to provide them a coach that matches that and challenges them. So I would like to provide the opportunity that I've had to have flexible income to move my business with me to other military spouses or other organizations. So I would like to bring on other coaches under me where we kind of work in partnership and then they can set their own course as well.
Sounds like a franchise.
Last question.
Yeah.
I know I came
Sounds
in
like
late, so I
franchise to
apologize.
me.
No worries.
As you can see, I'm a heavy talker. So one of my
A
strengths-
speaker never minds a heavy talker.
So what, maybe I missed this, but what kind of motivated you to dive into this?
No, that's a great question. And so I was working with the Leader Development Center up at West Point, and we were a strong internal team. We took the assessment, and I kind of helped lead the discussion that we had on a team offsite. And I saw how it took our good team, which I thought was doing well, and it just put us in a whole nother level. We could talk about things we hadn't talked about before. We were operating at a better pace, and we were able to better delegate our tasks to make sure everyone was operating in their sweet spot. So when I saw that transition, and then I also saw my upcoming move, I thought it was a great time to really jump off and get certified in it, know more about it, and then help other organizations have the same success that I was able to find in mine. Yes?
Two groups that I'd like for you to consider.
Okay.
I'm going to piggyback one off of something Sebastian said about the groups that, like when he mentioned about people who have fled their homes and need to start over. Another group that often needs help with identifying talents are the functioning disabled. Because they're not exactly sure what they can be doing with the skills that they have. And there's not a lot of resources out there to help identify that. There are resources to help them go to work, but they need to know what they can do that uses their strengths and accommodates their disability at the same time.
Oh, I love that. I hadn't thought about that before.
That's a perfect niche.
Yeah, well, and it's nice because they run into, I think, a lot of times, like many people, but a lot of barrier labels. And so they've been, spoken to in a negative light for a long time instead of really focusing on the things that they can do. So I absolutely love that.
Especially since sometimes they don't know what the strengths are and what they can bring to the table other than their limitations.
Exactly, because that's what's been focused on. Exactly. No, I love that.
And the other group is, going back to something Deb said about college students, a lot of colleges have and universities have a first year experience group, the first year students who often come and they really don't know what they want to do when they grow up.
Yeah.
I had a young lady in my office yesterday and I had to ask her 3 times, what do you want to do when you grow up? What is it that you are, what do you like? And she couldn't even tell me. She could not even vocalize what she likes.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, before I considered to add this program or add this program, I considered the Career Center to try to get some kind of needs assessment of what she's good or what she likes. But you can get freshmen or not even freshmen, first-time students, and that could be any age group, that have no clue what they want to do.
Yeah, and just help them identify those strengths so
Yes.
they can, kind of get down the right chute. It wouldn't be a one-on-one fit, but I can definitely see the worth in that.
And you can go and Google like first year college experience, whatever, you'll get all kinds of schools popping up that have programs like that.
Okay.
And that might be somebody you want to touch base with.
Yeah, no, thank you. I so appreciate that. Very good.
Okay, nobody else? I will take the last question then.
Thank
Katie,
you.
what can we do as a community to help you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like we've covered a lot of that. So, kind of the 2 asks that I kind of went through there. So I'd love to continue the conversation. Even if you know of anybody, just keep me in mind. It's always nice to have that personal connection. And really, your feedback today has been incredibly helpful. I think part of it is just sparking different ideas. We know what we know. And so, thinking of a few different niches has me super excited. Like, I can't wait to get back and write down all the different things. And so, really, you've already helped me so much. So, thank
Katie,
you.
I'm excited because military spouse, my husband was in the Army, 28 years, 9 months?
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, but what I know it, yeah, 32, yeah, like that. Yeah. But what I find is so exciting, I'm seeing how military spouses are evolving.
Mhm.
Because, you know, when we first got in, it was a coffee group and whatever else. Now I'm looking at them now and they're starting their own businesses and just doing all of these things. I find it totally fascinating.
Oh, it's awesome. And I'm part
Yes,
of a
it
military
is.
spouse entrepreneur group and I help lead a chapter and they are a powerhouse. So I am.
Yes, because we can do
absolutely-
it. We have to. You know, we have all these skills. Yeah,
Exactly.
just someone directing them in the right direction.
Exactly. No,
Yes.
you were spot on.
Yeah, so I applaud you.
Oh, thank you. Well done on 28 years. I'm at barely 14 and I feel like getting tired.
But I
so.
enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
Most of it.
she does that look. I love it.
Well, thank you, Katie.
Yes, thank you.